Now that the tubes have been removed, I now turned in the variable capacitor so the fins are engaged all the way. That way there's much less chance of damaging them when I remove the chassis from the cabinet. And here I have removed the knobs. And what I do is, on all these radios that have lots of parts, I put them in plastic bags, and here you can see that they're in separate plastic bags. That way they don't scratch each other. And I do that with all the screws, everything that I take apart, and then I put them all into one bag, and that way I don't lose anything and they don't get damaged. Now I've got the radio on the side, and I've just removed the bottom board that covers the bottom of the radio. And this is what I saw. I go, this is really amazing. I've never seen coils like this. And as you can see, there's 3 of them. And they're actually transformers, because when I take a closer look, you can see that there's another coil on the inside. Now I've unplugged the socket, and what that socket does is it's the connection to the chassis for all the batteries, the antenna, and the ground. And I've taken some more screws out of the chassis and carefully pulled the chassis out of the cabinet, and here it is on the workbench. And I'm going to go through the entire circuit wire by wire and draw up a wiring diagram for it. I looked and couldn't find one exactly. The Model D is pretty close, but because of this socket, I decided I'm going to draw up a separate wiring diagram. Here's the original drawing that I came up with, and of course I transferred that to a computer drawing. And the most important part of the drawing right now is the socket, identifying the wires that are connected to the socket so I can properly hook up the battery and the ground and the antenna. After checking out all the wires and all the components, I really didn't find anything wrong except for a loose connection on the 1 ohm resistor, which would have kept the tubes from lighting. And of course I repaired that. And then the next thing to get into was replacing the rubber for the variable capacitor. Okay, I've been working on replacing that belt, and all it does is it rubs up against the bottom and that little wheel there, so it's not really acting as a belt. It just rolls like that. And what I did was I just cut it the size and clamped it down with some small wood clamps like those. That's rubber cement, the light stuff. And of course I can pick that off, and I did put one staple in the top and then glued it, and hopefully that'll work. It doesn't have to be real strong, it just has to not fall off. Anyway, I cleaned the Bakelite on this, and we're about ready to put it back into the cabinet. Now here's the underside, and these round green coils are actually transformers. You can see that there's a lighter wire on the inside on all three. That's the antenna coil. That's the second stage, and this is the third stage for the RF. And these right here are capacitors. There's two on the bottom and there's one on the top. And these are the audio transformers here. Now what's interesting about these coils is, notice that they're not shielded, and they're also on the same plane, which means that they do interact with each other in sort of a feedback setup. So it's not exactly a regenerative circuit, but there is some magnetic feeding between those coils. And that does not show up or is apparent on the wiring diagram. So the placement of those coils are very important.
Hundreds in the community of Montecito have been destroyed by a wildfire. 3 square miles blackened. Now, AccuWeather. Here's WPTF forecast. Showers likely today. Highs in the upper 60s. Showers, a thunderstorm tonight and tomorrow. Tomorrow's high in the upper 60s. That may be 11 AccuWeather meteorologist. Louis from Inside 680 WPTF. It is 60 degrees. Feels like 61. Mike Blackman, News Talk 680 WPTF.
More of the news you need in less than 30 minutes or when news breaks. News Talk 680 WPTF.
Johnson Hyundai beats Toyota and Honda with more safety, equipment, and America's best warranty, all for a fraction of the price. And over through November 15th, Johnson Hyundai of Cary is offering up to $5,000 off MSRP in combined factory and dealer rebates, or available 0% APR on select models like the new 08 Santa Fe.
How to beat, Badger?
I'm gonna get me one today.
Or not, it's like you can get your quick football fix and then get right back to work, or back to pretending that you are working. Try doing a search for your favorite pro football player and see how Yahoo helps you get straight to your answers. Start now at Yahoo.
So now we can rest easy, right? Wrong. See, some in Congress actually want to restore the offshore drilling ban after the election, even though they repealed it before the election. They want to turn back the clock. The fact that poll after poll shows a strong majority of Americans support producing more domestic oil and natural gas. Americans know we need more energy from all exploration and production will create jobs and give our economy a badly needed boost. Now it's time for Congress to get the message. Tell them to move forward on increasing domestic energy supplies, because it's time to put America's offshore energy resources to work. For Americans. Paid for by API.
The Triangle is one of the fastest growing regions in the nation, where high-tech innovation happens at the speed of light. News Talk 680 WPTF and Triangle Business Journal keep you ahead of the curve weekday afternoons at 5:35 with tomorrow's business headlines today. Managing editor Dale Gibson of Triangle Business Journal and North Carolina's news leader combine forces to give you the most in-depth team coverage of Triangle Business News. Hear it before you read it. Another exclusive service from the Triangle's news and information station. News Talk 680 WPTF.
In the more information of this video, I have added a link where you can download some high-resolution pictures of this radio.